Welcome to part 2 of sculpting a model horse face. This is the nose. Now the nose is a little bit different than how I do it nowadays. It's a lot flatter. I did Dremel to get some more grip onto the nose. This plastic is really slick for some reason. And because it's so thin, I need to bulk out some, so I actually ended up going from just balls and going inward. Nowadays, when I sculpt, I tend to just kind of make little worms on the outer ring of a nostril, but this time I just did it this way because of how flared they are too. It kind of did work with the shape. So this is kind of a trust the process kind of thing, because it does look kind of wonky, but it does work out, I promise. And here I'm just using my fingers to kind of make the overall shape and slant that the nostrils are at, so they aren't too widespread and they kind of curve inward towards the edge of the mouth. I also realized how much I use an X-Acto knife for the nose and the mouth as well. So this is just helping me get rid of excess clay without squishing things, so I'm kind of leveling it off in a way. And much like the process with the eyes, this just requires a lot of fiddling. So it's a lot of back and forth trying to make sure I get the right shape, as well as doing both sides at the same time to keep things even and somewhat symmetrical. So everything I just did on one nostril, I'm going to do to the other one as well. Now this is another one of those specific shapes that I always use. So this is kind of like a little cone with a semicircle cut out of it. This is the shape that I use for above the nostril, kind of the, I guess, the airway of the nostril, because horses' nostrils are actually, I mean, they face upwards, but they're like a lot deeper than you think they are. So this is what that channel is, and because this horse's nose is so flared, they're pretty prominent on this sculpt. And this is going towards the mouth. As you can see, again, a lot of just little shapes. So this is me looking at my reference and saying, these are the kind of worms that I see. So I place all of those down, keep everything very wet, and then go through and start the blending process again. This is all kind of a long process of very small movements, I guess you could say. And it might be a little bit boring, but I just wanted to show the speed that I'm working as well, because it looks messy, and again, it's not going to be pretty the first time you put something down, which was kind of the thing that I messed up with the most when I was first starting to sculpt. Was I thought you kind of put something down and blend it and it's perfect, and if it's not, you kind of restart. I didn't realize how messy the process was to get to that smooth kind of look. So again, it might be a little bit boring, but just in case anyone's curious, this is kind of the process. It's very slow and steady and very small parts at a time. And this is where I noticed that I actually use X-Acto knives a lot more than I thought. I use it along the mouth as well, just to create that really sharp line. Because the mouth is open on this guy just a little bit, it's important to have like a really nice shape instead of kind of a blended one between the two lips. So I am using an X-Acto knife just to keep that very sharp and the shape that I want it to be. And of course I go back and smooth everything out again. Again, it's a lot of back and forth and a lot of fiddling between making marks and smoothing them out. This is also a good view of the rougher of the nice paintbrushes that I have. So you can see I'm really kind of digging into it just to smooth everything out, get everything blended out, and working together in a way with still keeping the shapes that I originally had started with. Before I move on to this one, this is the brand new paintbrush, so this is a final layer smoothing kind of thing. It gets rid of any of the lines that the other one might have left, and I try to keep it really clean, which is why I keep dipping it in the water and wiping it off. But this is just kind of final touch-up layers. And this is the start of the bottom lip. Now, sometimes when a horse has its mouth open, I will actually do these in two separate stages. The top lip and the nostrils, I will let them cure before I move on to the bottom lip. But this one is only open a little bit, so I decided to just move forward with it. Also, I will admit, this bottom lip and the chin piece, for some reason it was not blending very nicely. So I did go back and forth on that for a hot second, and I don't know why. They were really unhappy. So it is a lot of fiddling with that part as well. This is my super rough paintbrush, and I use it when something really needs to be kind of jammed together. And again, that one was giving me so much trouble, and I don't know why. So, and then I go back with the rougher of the nice ones to help smooth it out and start blending it together. Hopefully get it blended this time. Now at this stage I have smoothed out the nose as much as I feel like is needed, so I'm going to go back and just make very small lines. This is where you can get those really detailed wrinkles, and I'm just using my really small kind of cone shaped tool and very gently making lines. Because this epoxy is so wet, it makes lines very easily, so I'm not pressing down very hard, and it's just kind of gliding over it, and then I go ahead and smooth it out as well. And this is smoothed out very gently as well, because it will kind of just disappear if you really run over it. So this is all very delicate hand for these last little bits. That's why I want to make sure that the underlayer is the exact shape I want it to be before adding these small details in. Now I did actually go back and add more to the bridge of the nose. I really like Standardbreds that have those really clunky heads, so that was kind of my goal for this one. She's still not as clunky as I want her to be, but since it's a mare, it kind of works out that she's still a little bit dainty, but she's got kind of that awkward face to her still. Those are my favorites. And this is what the final product looks like. Now I might go back and add a little bit more on that in between. You can kind of see near the cheek and towards the corner of the mouth there. But for the most part, it actually looks pretty smooth in person, but once she's primed, it'll probably show some other spots I'll have to add to. But hopefully this video helped you all, and hopefully I will have a couple of other videos and other variations of how I do sculpt noses and different mouths and stuff. I have a lot of customs that have plans for open mouths because I'm having a lot of fun with those right now. So I will definitely try to share more as we make them. So anyway, thank you so much for watching.